Welcome back. I'm so glad you are sticking with this. Each night, your mind creates vivid, personalized guidance tailored precisely to your psychological needs and development. Dreams offer a natural feedback system that helps maintain psychological balance, process experiences, and guide growth towards greater wholeness. Yet, without practical methods for remembering, documenting, and interpreting these messages, much of their value remains inaccessible. In our previous video, we explored the theory behind Jung's approach to dreams, how they function, what they communicate, and why they matter for psychological development. Today, we'll focus on practical techniques for working with dreams, specific methods for remembering, recording, and interpreting these powerful communications from the unconscious. These approaches aren't about imposing rigid interpretations on dream content, but about developing a living relationship with your dream life. With consistent practice, these methods create a bridge between conscious and unconscious dimensions of your psyche, allowing for more integrated psychological functioning and deeper self-understanding. The first challenge in dream work is simply remembering your dreams. While we all dream multiple times each night during REM sleep, many people recall few or no dreams upon waking. This forgetting isn't coincidental, but reflects the different states of consciousness involved in dreaming and waking life. Dreams occur in a consciousness dramatically different from our waking state. As we transition to waking consciousness, dream content often dissipates unless we take specific steps to retain it. Additionally, psychological resistance sometimes contributes to forgetting, particularly with dreams that challenge our conscious identity or contain shadow material. To improve dream recall, start by setting clear intentions before sleep. As you prepare for bed, affirm your desire to remember your dreams. This simple practice signals to your unconscious that dream content is valued and worth preserving across the threshold to waking consciousness. How you wake significantly impacts dream intention. Abrupt wakings from alarms often sever dream memory, while gradual, natural waking preserves it. When possible, allow yourself to wake naturally. If you must use an alarm, choose gentler sounds that allow a more gradual transition. Upon waking, remain still for a few minutes before moving or engaging with the day. Physical stillness helps maintain the delicate thread of dream memory. Pay attention to any fragments, impressions, emotions, or images present upon waking, no matter how vague or seemingly insignificant. Creating conducive conditions for dream recall also involves reducing dream interference. Substances like alcohol, certain medications, and some recreational drugs like weed can suppress REM sleep or disrupt dream recall. Similarly, excessive stress, sleep deprivation, or irregular sleep schedules often reduce dream memory. Dream recall typically improves with practice and attention. Many people who initially remember few dreams find that the consistent focus on dream recall gradually increases both the frequency and detail of remembered dreams. The unconscious responds to conscious interest, providing more accessible dream content when it's consistently acknowledged and valued. Remember, Jung said, the face you turn to the unconscious is the face it turns to you. Once you recall your dreams, documenting them creates a valuable record for ongoing work. A dream journal, whether physical or digital, forms the foundation for serious dream work, preserving not just individual dreams, but patterns and developments over time. When recording dreams, include more than just basic content. Note the date, sleep quality, significant life events or concerns preceding the dream, emotional tone during and after the dream, and any initial insights or associations. These contextual elements often prove crucial for meaningful interpretation. While digital recording offers convenience and searchability, many find that handwriting dreams creates a more intimate connection with the material. Some dream workers combine approaches, perhaps using voice recording upon waking, when writing might be too disruptive, too drowsy recall, and transforming them to written form later. Visual documentation can significantly enhance verbal recording, sketching dream images, even with the minimal artistic skill, often captures qualities that words alone miss. These visual elements frequently reveal connections or patterns not evident in verbal descriptions. Title your dreams based on key elements or emotional tones. These titles make it easier to recognize patterns or reference specific dreams later. For recurrent dreams or themes, noting the frequency and variations becomes particularly valuable. Reviewing dream journals over time reveals patterns and developments invisible when looking at single dreams in isolation. Monthly or quarterly review often unveils dream sequences, charting psychological development, recurring symbols undergoing transformation, or themes corresponding to life transitions and challenges. For working with personal symbols and dreams, Jung recommended the association method, a process of noting spontaneous connections to dream elements. Unlike Freud's free association, which could wander far from the original dream content, Jung's approach keeps association centered on specific dream elements. To practice personal association, step 1, select the significant dream element, an image, character, action, or setting. Step 2, ask yourself, what comes to mind when I think of this element? Note your immediate, uncensored responses. Step 3, for each response, ask, what does this mean to me personally? What experiences, memories, or feelings connect to this? Step 4, notice any emotional shifts as you associate. Emotional responses often signal important connections even before conscious understanding emerges. Step 5, pay attention to bodily sensations that arise. The body frequently registers meaningful associations through tension, relaxation, energy shifts, or other physical responses. Throughout this process, distinguish between intellectualized explanation, this symbol obviously means, and authentic personal associations. Genuine associations often surprise or even slightly disturb the conscious mind, indicating connection with material not fully integrated into consciousness. This method proves particularly valuable for working with personal dream symbols, elements whose meaning derives primarily from individual experience rather than collective patterns. Your childhood home, people you know, or objects with specific personal significance typically requires this personal association approach. For dream elements drawing on collective or archetypal content, Jung developed the amplification method, exploring how similar symbols appear across cultural context to illuminate their deeper significance. This approach reveals connections between personal experience and universal human patterns. To practice amplification, step 1, identify dream elements that seem to carry archetypal energy, symbols, figures, or scenarios that feel numinous or larger than personal experience. These often evoke strong emotional responses or seem to carry specific significance. Step 2, research how similar symbols appear in mythology, religion, folklore, art, and literature across cultures. What qualities consistently associate with this symbol? What psychological themes does it typically express? Step 3, consider both similarities and differences in how the symbol manifests across contexts. What core meaning remains consistent despite cultural variations? Step 4, reflect on how these collective meanings might relate to your personal situation. How does the archetypal pattern illuminate your individual experience? Resources for amplification include mythology, reference works, symbol dictionaries, religious texts, and artistic traditions. Jung's own writings, particularly Man and His Symbol and Archetypes and the Collective Unconscious, provide valuable explorations of archetypal symbolism. Modern sources also offer amplification material, contemporary films, literature, and even video games frequently draw on archetypal patterns, sometimes providing more accessible parallels than ancient mythology for today's dreamers. The key to effective amplification is balancing universal patterns with personal relevance. Archetypal meanings provide context and depth, but must ultimately connect meaningfully to your specific psychological situation to be useful in dream work. Active imagination, Jung's method for consciously engaging with unconscious contents, provides a powerful approach for extending dream work beyond initial interpretation. This practice allows you to continue the dream while awake, developing material that might have remained implicit in the original dream. To use active imagination with dream content, step 1, choose a significant dream element, often a figure or unresolved situation that feels charged with psychological energy or importance. Step 2, enter a meditative, receptive state while maintaining conscious awareness. This middle ground between waking focus and dream-like reverie creates the optimal condition for active imagination. Step 3, vividly imagine the dream element, allowing it to become present to your inner vision. Rather than thinking about it abstractly, engage with it as a living presence. Step 4, initiate interaction, perhaps beginning a dialogue if it's a dream figure, or imaginatively continuing the action if it's a situation. The crucial element is allowing the unconscious content to respond autonomously rather than scripting its responses. Step 5, maintain both participation and observation throughout the process, engaging genuinely while remaining aware that you're exploring psychological content. Step 6, record the experience through writing, drawing, movement, or other forms of expression. This documentation helps integrate insights and creates a record for further reflection. Active imagination often resolves dream situations that remained incomplete, reveals the perspective of confusing dream figures, or develops psychological material that was only hinted at in the original dream. Many find that dream figures encountered in active imagination become ongoing inner resources, available for consultation beyond specific dream work sessions. This practice can be extended through various creative approaches: writing dialogues with dream figures, creating artwork based on dream imagery, embodying dream energies through movement, or composing music that expresses dream qualities all represent forms of active imagination that engage different aspects of the psyche. Integrating these various techniques, we can establish a practical framework for working with dreams, a systemic approach that honors both the structure and spontaneity of effective dream work. 1. Record the dream as soon as possible after waking, including context and emotional tone. 2. Identify key elements, the most emotionally charged or unusual aspects of the dream, often where psychological energy concentrates. 3. For each key element, practice both personal associations and, where appropriate, archetypal amplification. 4. Consider the dream in context of your current life situation. How might it relate to ongoing challenges, relationships, or developmental tasks? 5. Explore connections to your psychological history. Does the dream connect to patterns established earlier in your life? 6. Look for compensatory aspects, how the dream might be balancing or complementing your conscious attitude or perspective. 7. Check interpretations against your emotional response. Meaningful interpretations typically evoke an aha feeling of recognition, an emotional rather than merely intellectual resonance. 8. Consider whether active imagination might deepen your understanding of certain dream elements. 9. Reflect on practical implications. Does the dream suggest any specific actions or attitude adjustments in your waking life? When distinguishing between significant and more ordinary dreams, pay attention to emotional intensity, unusual vividness, recurring themes, or numinous qualities that give certain dreams specific importance. While all dreams offer psychological information, some represent particularly important communications from the unconscious. For difficult or disturbing dreams, approach with particular care and compassion. These dreams often contain shadow material, seeking integration, or warn about psychological imbalances requiring attention. Rather than avoiding their challenging content, view them as valuable, if uncomfortable, guides to psychological wholeness. Recognize that dream interpretation is less about finding the correct meaning than about developing a living relationship with your unconscious. A dream has been sufficiently understood when it produces a sense of meaningful connection between conscious and unconscious aspects of your psyche, often accompanied by new insights or subtle shifts in attitude or behavior. Dream work represents not a technique to master, but a relationship to develop. Over time, your engagement with dreams typically evolves from occasional interpretation of particularly striking dreams to an ongoing dialogue between conscious and unconscious dimensions of your psyche. This evolving relationship often includes changes in dream content itself. As you consistently work with dreams, many report that their dreams become more accessible, coherent, and directly relevant to conscious concerns. The unconscious responds to conscious engagement, gradually shifting its communication style when its message receives authentic attention. In our next module, we'll explore synchronicity and the search for meaning, Jung's revolutionary concept of meaningful coincidence and its implication for understanding reality beyond conventional causality. We'll examine how synchronistic events complement dreams as communications from the unconscious, offering guidance and connection to larger patterns of meaning. For now, I invite you to establish or deepen your dream work practice with a simple commitment. For next week, record at least one dream or dream fragment each day, no matter how insignificant it may seem. At the end of the week, review these records, looking for patterns or recurring elements that might reveal psychological themes seeking your attention. Remember that dreams offer a natural guidance system tailored precisely to your psychological needs and development. By developing practical methods for working with dreams, you aren't imposing artificial techniques on your psyche, but rather cultivating a more conscious relationship with processes already occurring within you. As Jung observed, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Okay, bye for now. See you in the next video.